Hey guys, what's up? Are you with me? If you are, just drop a hello in the chat. That'll really help me to make sure that everything is connecting properly and that we are good to go. So I think I see that there are 5 people on right now. So just drop a hello really quick. Just want to make sure everything's working. Make sure that audio is coming through. Can you guys hear me okay? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, so this is another just let's ask questions about the music industry. Let's talk about your careers and ask me anything session. I'm doing this just, because we're all stuck in our houses and, it's just a good way to just connect and find community. And yeah, I mean, I've been stuck at home all day. And if you have to, let me know in the comments. If you guys are just popping in, definitely drop a hello in the comments. We're going to just start with answering your questions. Any topic. This is an Ask Me Anything session. So if you are here, either on mobile or on desktop, just drop hello and we'll get started shortly. But today, man, I was just talking to my wife. This week has gone by so fast. It's almost like I'm used to working at home. She's working at home. This whole quarantine thing is like, I don't know, I'm almost getting used to it. It's kind of not as strange anymore. And so it's just crazy. I want to hear what you guys have been up to since last week in our last stream. It was a really good one. We talked about all kinds of stuff. Like we talked about Facebook ads. We talked about promoting on SoundCloud. And what else? We talked about, building a fan journey. Yeah, so it's been good. I see, there are a few people on. If you guys want to drop a question in the comments, we can just start right away going over whatever you guys want to talk about. This is your time. So whatever questions you might have, just throw them in the chat and I'll read them out and I'll answer them here in real time for you. That's what this is for. This is just a time to discuss the music industry, to discuss music marketing. And yeah, so if you're just rolling in, just drop a hello really quick in the chat, drop your questions, and we'll get talking. And I guess I can always pose a question. Just let me know this week if you guys have seen any artists live streaming, any concerts at all. Let me know because I've seen a ton. Hey, what's up, Will? How's it going? Yeah, say hi in the chat, drop your questions, and let me know if you've seen any artists doing doing any live streams. Hey, what's up, Jamar? So I was just watching a live stream, yeah, for King and Country. Their live stream was nuts. It was, so get this. I mean, of course, we're all quarantined. We're all at home, and I think they had a tour that got canceled and they had 2 dates. And then, they obviously couldn't continue the tour. So what they did was really cool. They had all the band members, like 7 people in that band. They had all of them in their own respective houses, and then they somehow filmed, recorded, and synced their entire show from multiple locations all into one stream with like multiple camera split screens. It was crazy. If you guys want to see that madness, it just happened today. So it's like the last video on their YouTube channel. And it was a really good example of just what you can do, probably with a ton of money. Hey, what's up, Hassan? Yeah, it was honestly impressive. And I've done some streaming before, not like this, but like corporate streaming. And so I know a little bit of what is required, but that was incredible how they just, like, the drums were syncing up with the guitars, and they were all in separate houses and in each individual guy's home studio. And of course, they live in Nashville, so everyone has a home studio in their basement. So it worked out for them, but it was nuts. Will says David Dunn did a live stream. Did he? So was it like a high production live stream, or did he do it from his phone? Not that one is better than the other. Honestly, it's just good to connect with your fans virtually. So let me know, Will. And also, if you guys are just rolling in, drop a hi in the chat. We're talking about your questions today, talking about your music careers. So if you have any questions or just want to share what you've been up to, just drop it below and we'll talk about it. I'll comment on it. Dude, it was switched live. So the thing that's mostly insane is this, and my wife and I were theorizing how they did it. It was all in sync, even with like each person's internet connection. The you know, they had to sync the click track back to each guy, and it's like they must have had some kind of master clock that was keeping track of everything. What's up, Survivor? So that it was just so cool to see. They were switching it live, so they'd switch split screens, multiple camera angles. They definitely rented gear for this. And oh, another really cool thing is that they had people call in too on FaceTime, and they were able to patch that into the feed. And they had some celebrities call in during the stream, which was really cool. They were probably ambassadors to get more people to watch the stream, but still a really good idea, and it was really cool technologically how they got all of that done. So yeah, that was a really cool stream. So let's see. So Jamar's in, Survivor's in, Hassan's in. What's up, Manuel? Hey. So this is your time right now. So we can talk about whatever you want. This is an Ask Me Anything session. So drop your comments and questions in the chat, and we can get talking about your music careers, talk about how to market your songs, and just let me know what you've been up to as well. If you just want to share, run some ideas off of me, or we can just, shoot the breeze too. So this is, this sounds like I'm ready. Yeah, this is your time, man. So this is just a way to connect in a deeper way, especially with everything that's been going on with the virus. I'm sure that you guys are all stuck at home, just like how I am. So it's it'll be good. It'll be good. What's a good vocal chain? Jamar asks. That's a really good question. Not too. I was waiting for that. I was just like. So the not too. Are you thinking hardware or are you thinking plugins? Let me know which kind of path you want to go, or hybrid as well, because that could be a really good way to go too. I have a hybrid vocal chain that I could talk about if you want, but I'll give you some good suggestions that are not too expensive as well. But let me know if you want some actual hardware pieces, or if you're looking for specific plugins for vocals. Hardware gear. Okay, sweet. Yeah. So there's a couple of good pieces. If there's a couple of categories that I think I would just steer you towards. So there's something called a channel strip, which is a little more expensive, but it basically has, okay, using Rode NT, sweet. So there's something called a channel strip, which is a hardware piece of gear, and it basically has the entire chain in one mix. So a channel strip has a preamp, and then it usually goes into an EQ. It runs through everything. It sounds beautiful, and it goes into your audio interface. So that could be a really good way to go, especially since you said you're not getting the sound out of my studio that I want. So the great thing about a channel strip is that they're usually more versatile. And the very first channel strip that I had, I don't think they sell this anymore, but it was a PreSonus Eureka. And it was actually pretty good for a PreSonus like preamp, like, because people think that PreSonus is bad, but this was a legit channel strip. And so that basically helped, because since it was like the front end of my interface, everything was plugged into this Eureka. Basically, my whole mix elevated because everything was going through this channel strip. So a really good one is the universal audio channel strip. Oh, you're using a Eureka. That's okay. I upgraded from that too, man. It's like the cheapest. How do I say this? It's the best of the cheap, you know. So let me drop you something that's like pro level here. I'm gonna Google this really quick. Universal audio channel strip. Yeah, okay, well, this might be too expensive, but I'll drop it in the chat anyways, just so you can educate yourself. If you were just going to go pro as far as channel strips go, I'd get this. Okay, so that's one way to go for channel strips. Another thing that you could do, which is what I do now, is I bought it's called a lunchbox. It's like a 500 series lunchbox. And if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it a little bit more. And then I just picked the pieces that I wanted and I built my own channel strip within the lunchbox. So I bought a 1076, I'm pretty sure, yeah, and it goes into like an LA2A clone, and it has an EQ in there too. And so basically what it does is this box houses these units, and then in the back they all patch into each other. So it's like a custom solution. You can swap them all out. So that's another way to go. Yeah, the API, yeah, Lunchbox, exactly. My Lunchbox is, I'm trying to look over, it's a Rupert Neve. So they all do the same thing. Yeah, 500 series. So that's what I would do. Just make sure that you know, your compression isn't like too slamming in the front, and you should be good. I mean, depending on the instrument, but for voice, just a little light compression on the way in, that should help with a lot of things. And also getting comfortable with your EQ and not jumping around too much with a bunch of EQs can really help, because EQ really happens up here. And so like really get to know whatever EQ you're using so that you can just reach for it, make the right change and be done with it. And that's kind of where the power is. So whatever EQ you end up getting, just use it a ton and learn it very, very well. And that should get you going there. Let's see some more comments going on. Ditto doesn't offer a way to upload lyrics to different places. What's the solution that's also inexpensive? Yeah, you know, I think almost all distributors don't really have a handle on that. I think I might have a solution. Let me pull up some notes because I don't think I have it readily accessible in my brain. But are you thinking of like getting the lyrics sent to like your YouTube auto-generated videos, or what exactly are you thinking, Hassan? Just drop down in the comments while I pull this up. Here we go. I'm working on a training right now called the Song Launch Formula, and I did some research on this specifically about getting your lyrics out there, and I found something that's really going to help. If I could just find my massive list. Here we go. Okay, check out Genius and Music Match. That should get you started with getting your lyrics out there on the internet. Yeah, so okay, yeah, exactly. Apple Music and Shazam. So Shazam's going to be a little different because you have to make sure that you're actually opted in for Shazam through your distributor. Hey, what's up, Justin? So make sure that you actually are recognizable in Shazam in the first place, and then check out Genius and Music Match. I personally haven't done anything with them, but in my research, those are the places to go if your distributor can't handle lyrics. So that's what I would do first, man. Oh, nice, man. Well, I had the same question. Best way to distribute lyrics and get royalties. So I just want to clarify, what do you mean by royalties from lyrics? Or are you talking about some other type of royalty? Just go ahead and clarify that really quick, Manuel, and we'll jump on that. And then really quick, if you guys are just tuning in, we're doing just a chill Ask Me Anything session. The time for you to just drop your cues in the chat about anything music industry related, and we'll just chop it up and try to figure out exactly what you need to do specifically for your career. So, um, yeah, guys, let me know about that. Anyone else who's just kind of on the sidelines, just drop a quick hello in the chat. And if you guys could help me with one thing, could you drop in the chat if you guys have signed up for the free downloads from the Indie Music Academy? Have you guys done that yet? There's some stuff that I'm giving away. One of them is a Spotify playlist game plan that will, first of all, explain the Spotify algorithm to you and then show you what you have to do to actually start to trigger some of the algorithmic playlists. So let me know if you guys have that in the chat. If you don't have it, let me know as well. Another one of the free downloads is a royalty collection ebook. So if that was your question, Manuel, about actually collecting royalties, that ebook actually might be the solution for you because it goes through every single, every single distributor, every single collection agency, and where to sign up, and also which royalty they collect as well. And then lastly, the other free thing I'm giving away is the 3 essential music industry contracts that you need to have on hand all the time. So if you guys haven't picked that up, let me know. I can always drop a link. In fact, I will drop a link for you guys. Since it's free, you might as well pick it up. And you will also get some free video training from me as well, just for joining. So looks like Justin has something. I heard today Bandcamp sales went up a lot. Question about that. I haven't heard actually, by the way. Do you mean Bandcamp like raised their minimum, or that like a lot of users just hopped on Bandcamp today for some reason? Let me know. And also, if you have the article, I'd love to read that too. Just, it's crazy what's going on with this coronavirus. Everyone's hopping online. So if that in some ways positively affecting musicians, that's interesting. I want to know about that. So, Manuel, if you're still here, I think we're on your question right now. We just need you to clarify what type of royalties you meant. If you're not on, no worries. We'll just move on to the next question. All right, Jamar, what mic? Yeah, so you're redoing your whole vocal chain right now. I love it. I love it. So yeah, if I remember correctly, you're using a Eureka and you're using a Rode NT, which is almost identical to how I started, by the way, which is really awesome. I had the Eureka too. My very first mic was this Canadian mic called the Kel Audio, and I bought it because I saw this video from Graham at the Recording Revolution. He recommended it, and so I bought it, and I still have it. It's a really good mic. But anyways, okay, so you want a mic recommendation for your signal chain. You know, honestly, I am super in love with the AKG 414s, especially in a home studio, because they are honestly the most versatile mic I've ever used. I have a pair of them, and before I got my Neumann, I was using it for voice, and it sounded amazing. And like having two it just opens up the whole world of recording, right? Because it has all of the polar patterns, right? So you could set them to figure 8, and you can do some pretty advanced mid-side stereo miking. You can set them to omnidirectional and do like a space pair and, you know, record a choir or a grand piano. They're just incredible microphones, and the best part about them is that they sound great on voice too. So if you have the budget for one of those, I bought mine used on eBay because they're way cheaper on eBay. And so I definitely recommend picking them up. And then another like really good contender that I'm just absolutely in love with is the Shure SM7B. It's like a I don't know, not very yeah, it's a U87. Not very many people love the SM7, but the people who do like absolutely swear by it. And I think I'm one of those people because sometimes I'll record a demo with the SM7 and then I'll go back to record the real thing with the U87. And I know that there's like some psychology to this as well, but sometimes I prefer the Shure, the SM7. And there's just something about it. It's like very, girthy. It doesn't have that glossy top end like the condensers have. And so it's just another color that sounds really great. And it's a dynamic mic. So if you pick up an SM7, definitely pick up something called a cloud lifter as well, because that's going to actually let your dynamic mic use phantom power. So if you've ever plugged in a dynamic mic and you have to turn the gain all the way up and it's, kind of noisy and buzzy, cloud lifters fix that. And so I use cloud lifters on my ribbon mics. I use it on my dynamic mics, and it literally turns your dynamic mics into condensers basically with the dynamic sound still. So it's a really uh, amazing piece of gear there. Let's see what else we got. Oh, okay. Jumping around still with Jamar, AKG over the road. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. The AKG 414. Make sure it's that one. It's the gold one, the gold and black mic. Definitely would choose that over the road just for its sound and versatility. Yeah, the SM7, it's not really neutral because it has the capability to boost the bass and to do kind of like this. Well, it's a broadcast mic, so it's meant for the radio sound, but it also sounds great in a mix. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily neutral like a ribbon mic would be neutral. So it's great for bass guitar, electric guitar, and it's great for voice, of course, because we're talking about voice. Oh, nice. Yeah. So throw that on vocals with the cloud lifter and see what you can do with that. All right, jumping around. And feel free to hop back in, Jamar, if you have more questions. Okay, Hassan's back. Apple Music lyrics or Shazam identification. Okay, so that's actually two questions. I'm almost positive if I'm understanding it correctly. So Hassan, Apple Music lyrics, if your distributor can't handle it, just like how I said earlier, check out Genius or Music Match. Those are two different companies that should be able to handle that music metadata for you. And then the second thing for Shazam identification, that's totally up to your distributor. So if your distributor doesn't have it, you might not be able to add that on very easily. All right, moving right along. Good question, guys, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, man, Graham's a great guy. I've been watching him for a long time. We actually met up at NAMM, which was really cool. And yeah, he's a good dude. Okay, Hassan's got another question. Got next to nothing. No knowledge about music and beat making. Two questions. How do I identify the types of instruments and music used to replicate or find a similar vibe? It's a really good question. I think a lot of it has to do with knowing synths. That's like a huge thing. And so knowing um, the sound of the synths that you're hearing is going to be like 50% of all, pop, trap, hip hop music today. So just doing some research on the types of synths that are out there and the types of sounds that synths make, you'll start to train your ear to understand like, oh, yeah, that's a saw wave, or oh, that's a sine wave. That's a sine wave bass, right? That super subby 808 thing. And then you'll start to pick up on kind of these patterns. And there's a really good channel here on YouTube called Beat Academy, run by my friend Ill Factor, and he is probably a really great channel if you want to start training your ear because he remakes songs in real time. So it's kind of like that visual audio training, like over and over, get recognition of like seeing, the track made and seeing what sounds he's selecting and what synths and where they're coming from. So definitely check out that channel because that could really help. Cool dude as well. Saw Ill Factor at NAM also. Small world. So let's see what else we got. Survivor says, I had a Neumann TLM 103, such a dope sounding mic. Yeah, man, those Neumanns, if you could get your hands on them, they're good on everything. Almost everything. Yeah. Hassan has a follow-up question. Some methods to like ramp up my music making sooner. Gotcha. I don't want to rely on producers. I want to produce my own songs and write. Yeah, so I would just go back. Like, what Ill Factor does is he takes the popular music of today, recreates in real time, like verbatim. So what you can do is like follow his tutorials and then copy those sounds, right? Because those sounds are modern and they're awesome. And then what you can do is you can create your own original, lyrics and melodies and rhythms using those sounds. And I'd say that's the biggest shortcut that I could think of to getting music produced fast, because you don't have to find sounds. You're getting taught by Ill Factor, who's an amazing producer, step by step. So that's what I would do, man. Hopefully that helps. I've seen that the services detects the lyrics of songs pay royalties for the times they're shown in Instagram stories and Shazam. I gotcha. That's interesting, man. Well, yeah, that's got to be, um, yeah, that's actually something I have to look into more. It's really, really good question. Because for my distributor, I might have it a little bit easy because AWOL does ask for the lyrics and they do handle all of that. AWOL is great, man. They handle everything. Actually, they handle my YouTube content ID. They accept the lyrics. They accept all of the credits for all of the different copyrights, the sound recording copyright, the song copyright. They even handle the release copyright, which is a thing that we don't really talk about a lot because it's not really that important, but they handle everything. So I might be actually out of the loop when it comes to like a stack for making sure that your music's completely distributed, because AWOL just completely distributes my music 100% as far as I know. Also international. So it's ridiculous what they do. And so unfortunately, I'm not really able to speak on that because I haven't really had to go down that path, unfortunately. So sorry about that. It's okay, Hassan. I don't even know what are synths. We'll definitely check it out. Beat Academy. Yeah. Beat Academy. Ill Factor is the guy. Great producer. Yeah, and just really quick, a synth stands for synthesizer. So it's usually a keyboard instrument, or you can use a plugin that replicates those classic or modern pieces of gear. So that's what I would do. Yeah, check out synths. You might want to also Google something called synthesis, and you can definitely go deep down that rabbit hole as well. No better time to do it, right? Hey, Sierra, I've been working on my YouTube channel for a year. It has been slow growing, and I'm feeling a little discouraged. I want to keep at it, but I also want growth. This is just part of the process. Yeah, you know, I feel you. It is really slow growing. So a little history on my channel, my small 500 5,000 subscriber channel. It's let's see, how can I say this in a simple way? I started in 2017, and it took 2 years before I got my first 1,000 subscribers. And then in that 1 year after that, I got my next 3,000. So that is like what I've seen in my channel. And that's kind of the slow growth that I think most YouTubers can expect. But there is a way where you can kind of miss all of that paying off. So what I did is I released videos kind of whenever I felt like it in the beginning, and I took, a lot of breaks, and then I wasn't really consistent. And then at one point, I released a video that it was just a normal video, didn't really do very well, especially in comparison to any of my others. And I was still kind of, inconsistent with upload schedule and all of that stuff. And then I checked back in the studio dashboard in YouTube, and I noticed that this random video all of a sudden started getting a ton of views, like 8 months after I posted it. And I was like, that's weird. Why am I getting like a subscriber a day now? Because before I'd get like a subscriber a week. And I was like, okay, didn't think anything of it. And then I checked back later on that same video, and that video is now getting me 3 subscribers a day. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. This video that I made like almost half a year ago is all of a sudden bringing in single-handedly almost all of my subscribers. And so I went into the YouTube analytics to try to figure out what the heck was going on. And I discovered that that video got in a search. It's appearing in a search result. And so basically what that means is that people are going onto YouTube and they're putting in a search, and my video at the time, it happened to be the 4th result down. And so what that was doing, it was taking my channel, and if we're going to use a fishing analogy here, it just cast like a hook into a stream of traffic, right? That search being a stream of traffic. And the crazy thing is now that I was in a search, other YouTube algorithmic things started to kick in, right? Because I was getting more plays, I was starting to accrue something called watch time, which YouTube really cares a lot about. And so with more data, YouTube can start to actually use my videos and understand exactly what the user interaction is on those videos. So to keep this story from going too long, I was like 4th down in the search, and YouTube started to pay attention to something called click-through rate, which I know a lot of you have heard about before. It's talked a lot about in the internet these days. And so click-through rate happens a lot, or it matters in regards to how important YouTube thinks your video is. It has to do with the thumbnail and the title. So if you have a catchy thumbnail and a catchy title, people are more likely to click on your video, and then your click-through rate goes up, therefore your views go up, and therefore your watch time goes up. And so, long story short, because of a couple of things I did well, and also a couple of lucky things that I stumbled upon, that video is now the first video in that particular search. And it is just getting tons of views and tons of traffic and subscribers to my channel. And so after that happened, I was now aware of this thing called search engine optimization, and I started studying it. I took a class on search engine optimization and did a lot of my own research and did some workshops and stuff like that, because search engine optimization is the strategy for small YouTube channels. That's my firm belief, because without having a huge audience, you're not going to get a huge bump every time you upload, right? We're not Casey Neistat, huge subscriber base, and they are just already ready for the content. So as small YouTubers, especially as small musicians, getting into search is the way that small channels grow. And the good thing is that as musicians, we actually have a built-in way to get into search results without having to do like crazy things like, how do I household chore, right? Those videos that people search for. But people oftentimes will search for the latest songs, but an acoustic version. Or people will often go to YouTube to search for the latest songs, but not the actual artist. They'll look for a cover. And so, as musicians, a cover song is a built in way to get into search results without, selling out, being spammy, being off brand, or anything like that. So, there's two things like that go really well together: learning search engine optimization and also being willing and comfortable playing covers and filming cover videos. That is, you know, the strategy for a small YouTube channel, because without getting into searches, you have to then drive all of the traffic, whether that be through your mailing list, through paid advertising, through your other social media audiences, like trying to pull them off of one platform and bring them to YouTube, which is hard to do. So that is pretty much the whole story. And Sierra, sorry about that. I would want to know if you could just leave a comment really quick, if you've done any covers yet, or if you have uploaded anything that is similar to what I described. Just let me know, because I'd love to talk about this more, and I just kind of want to learn more about your story. So fill that in if you have a moment. Oh, Manuel, I see what you're saying. Yeah, distribution to lyrics services like Genius. Yeah, okay, so I get what you're saying now. Yeah, that's something I haven't really signed up for myself. Um, and I think the reason is because my focus is a little more on email personally. Um, but you're totally right. That would be something good to do. Yeah, man. Like I said, I haven't really looked into that at all. The lyric royalty collection services. That's foreign to me. So thanks for bringing that up. I'll do some research on that though. Son asks, how do you hold your breath longer via chest continuing? Oh, okay. So how to improve breath control and rap longer on a single breath. I've read stuff about breathing from the diaphragm. I'm able to inhale that way, but not exhale, I guess. Sometimes I feel I can hold breath longer. Gotcha. So first singing question on the channel. Congratulations. First ever. We've never talked about singing. Um, so it's actually kind of interesting that you asked, because I don't think I've ever said that I've taken singing lessons for like 8 years. So um, randomly and luckily, I do have an answer for you. So when you're trying to use your diaphragm, it's really important to know where your diaphragm is in your body, because a lot of people say use your diaphragm, but it's like, what is my diaphragm? Where is it? And it's like, is it here? No, it's actually, there's one specific place where you can actually feel for it. And so if you take two fingers, you find your rib cage. In the middle of your rib cage is something called the sternum, and you go all the way to the bottom of your sternum. And then right when it gets soft again, right, that's when the bone is ended. And so right there is where your diaphragm is pushed up against your rib cage. And so that's why, when you breathe, your rib cage expands. I mean, the lungs are part of that too. So if you feel right under that hard part and you push deep, that is where your diaphragm is. And so you need to make sure that your diaphragm is activated when you're singing, because the diaphragm, it has more to do with breath control versus lung capacity, right? So your lungs have to do with capacity, how much air you can actually bring in. But your diaphragm is going to be the part of, I guess, this instrument that uses your air wisely. So when you are practicing at home, I want you to try this exercise. So there are some words that actually activate your diaphragm automatically without you even trying. It's a physiological reaction. And so at home, I want you to do that. Take your fingers, find your diaphragm right underneath, your sternum when it goes from hard to soft. And I want you to say quite loudly, just go V quite loudly. And you'll find that the consonant there is going to automatically activate your diaphragm and it'll push your fingers out. So do that because that is a positive reaction, right? That is an active diaphragm. And if you do that, you'll know your diaphragm's working. Then the next thing is to try to get that to happen when you're actually rapping and singing. And so what you want to do is you want to trick your brain to using the natural physiological tendencies that we have hardwired into our DNA while we're singing so that it's a natural singing, setup, right, in our body. We don't want to do anything unnatural. We don't want to strain our throat. We don't want to hurt our voice at all. We want to use what our bodies are naturally made for. So that's how you activate your diaphragm. That was like a vocal master class in 5 minutes. So hopefully that helps. Let me know how that goes. Breath or lung capacity is completely different. And the way that you increase lung capacity is through restricted breathing. And so what you can do is just do breathing exercises where you literally restrict your airflow and then you force the air despite the obstacle anyways. And that's going to increase your lung capacity. So hope that helps. Yeah, definitely check out Gary Vee. I sent out an email about Gary Vee that made some of you guys angry. Did you guys get that? I love Gary Vee, by the way. I don't know. Maybe I went a little too hard. But anyways, yeah, Gary Vee is a beast. Okay, sweet. Sierra's back. I have been posting a cover every week pretty consistently for 6 months or so. I've been experimenting with SEO. Haven't been able to nail the thumbnail yet. Just have to keep at it. I really do enjoy it. That's awesome. Yeah, so, okay, here's some things. And actually, you know what? I'm going to actually drop something in the chat for you, Sierra, as well. Because this is not available. This is not available in the Indie Music Academy to the public, but I'll post this private link for you just in case. This is my SEO course specifically for musicians that I made with my buddy Pete in London, and he is a producer, and he was trying to get on the front page of Google, and he's building his YouTube channel, and he just hit his first 1,000 subscribers, and these tactics, I mean, it doesn't matter if you started your channel like 2 years ago or you started your channel yesterday. These tactics, it's just learning the algorithm and giving the algorithm what it wants, right? So things like how to construct the right kind of title, how to find what content to make to begin with, right? How do you know if a song is even going to have traffic, right? So I teach you how to use these SEO tools to learn what traffic streams are, how to tap into them, and also how to get your YouTube videos viewed through the Google search as well, because obviously you guys know if you Google something, YouTube videos come up as well. So it's a really great source of traffic. So check that out if you guys want. Like I said, it's actually not in the Indie Music Academy store. So if you guys try to look for it later, you won't find it. So click that link, check it out, or bookmark it, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's a really great place to start if you want to get deeper into SEO, specifically for musicians. I teach you how to find music-specific keywords, and there's also a 2-hour live SEO training that I did with Pete, specifically on his website. So if you're a producer in the chat, that will really help you as well, because I literally, help him rank higher as a producer. So hopefully that helps, and best of luck. Oh, really quick, Sierra. answer this one thing for me. Have you have you checked out like the new Music Friday playlists? Because if obviously this isn't going to be like a perfect match every time, but if new music comes out on Friday and there's a song that you absolutely love and that you can learn really quick, try to put out a video that Friday. Try to beat all the competition. That's another thing that I would try as well. All right. Gary V. Love. Love it. Yes. Okay. So, what's your main DAW? Would you suggest using a particular DAW for vocals like Logic and Ableton for mixing? Yeah, that's a good question, man. I've used them all. I'm like, I can't decide. So, um, to answer your question, I'm a Pro Tools guy. I started on Pro Tools when I worked at Studio West in San Diego. It's Pro Tools. When I worked for Darren Clark, who's a producer in Tennessee, in Nashville, he used Logic. And so I was like, oh, shoot, Logic. I got to learn this now. And that kind of started me transitioning over to Logic a little bit. And at the time, I just didn't upgrade my Pro Tools for whatever reason. And so Logic was a little more reliable. And so I started using Logic more and I got really familiar with that. And then I wanted to do more looping and convinced myself that I needed Ableton as well. So I tried Ableton out as well. And so to answer your question shortly, yes, they're all really good. They all definitely have different strengths. So it depends on what your, um, I guess, what your pecking order of importance is. So if you want to do a lot of like sampling and splicing and playing back samples and doing all of that amazing stuff that Ableton can do, and the Ableton stock plugins are geared towards that as well, then Ableton's going to be the best choice. But it's not the best choice for audio recording. It's not the best choice for audio editing. And it's not the best choice for mixing either. So that's a drawback there. Basically, to answer your question shortly, um, the two songs that I have on Spotify, I recorded, mixed, and mastered in Logic. But every other song before, and all of the work that I do for my clients, I do in Pro Tools because I'm faster in Pro Tools. I can get a sound way quicker in Pro Tools. And I think Pro Tools is honestly the way that I think the fastest. And it's probably because I started on Pro Tools. So whatever uh, you're the most comfortable in, that's the DAW that you should use. I know that's kind of like a random answer, but whatever you're the fastest in, I'd say that's the best DAW. And Logic strength, I'd say, is the library that it comes with of virtual instruments is the strength. Because if you're wanting to use different sounds other than guitar, bass, and drums, and you want to actually throw in like that, I don't know, that string sound, or you want to throw in organs and you want to do, extra stuff, Logic has a really great sound library, and they come with it comes with a lot of great plugins as well. So even its basic compressor has all of these emulations that are super awesome. It has like an LA2A emulation. It has 1176 emulation. Basically, all these classic studio compressors it emulates. I don't know to what accuracy, but it's just cool to have. And Logic has a really great interface, and its MIDI is really good. I ended up not staying on Logic because, like I said, I fully mixed and mastered and produced 2 of my own songs in Logic because I was really into Logic. But the reason that I went back to Pro Tools is just because there were some things that I ended up banging my head against the wall just because I couldn't figure it out fast enough. And so, yeah, to me, just Pro Tools is way easier. I know that's like contrary to the popular opinion, but Pro Tools is the way that I think. And so I'll just finish up by saying whatever you're the fastest, just use that. Sierra says, heck yes, thanks. I tried that with a Taylor Swift song. I didn't get a lot of views on that one, but I did another T Swift song, an older one, and it's had the most views on my channel for a while. All right, nice. So what I would challenge you to do is to just go into the YouTube Studio and check the analytics on that and see what the traffic source is on that top performing video, because I almost guarantee you that either another video is recommending it a lot, like one video is sending you traffic, or you're actually in a search. So um, definitely check that out. That would be really cool to find out. Manuel says, have you tried, oh man, how do you say that? Hyped it. Hyped it. And if you know John Gold, have you seen his course called Spotify Growth Machine? So that's a no and a no, unfortunately. But drop the link. I'll check it out. Hey, man. Logic strength. We talked about that. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. If you don't feel like you can work fast in Pro Tools, that's fine. I feel like that's what most people think. Um, so, but as far as like recording quality, like it's all ones and zeros, really. Like you're not going to get a better quality recording in Pro Tools versus recording in Logic, recording in Ableton. Like if there's any difference in the code, it's so minor. Like literally your mic placement's going to make a bigger difference than the coding difference between Logic and Ableton. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. Hassan's asking, if we replicate music from scratch, can we be copyrighted on YouTube? Yes. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. It's definitely not fair use if you do that. What is fair use is if you create a parody, but I don't think that's what you mean. All right, guys, how are we doing? Oh, sweet, Hassan's back because we. Oh, okay. So yeah, to answer your question, is that um, publishing companies and record labels have been manually flagging videos, so it doesn't have to do with Content ID. They're just doing it manually. And so YouTube's going to side with them every single day of the week because they pay YouTube a lot of money. So yeah, just because it's a different sound wave doesn't mean that it's not going to get flagged, because they have, interns in a spreadsheet with, song after song of search results just flagging vids because they got the monies. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, guys, keep dropping your questions in. Um, real quick, I want to share a couple of things that are on the horizon. Have you guys checked out the 30 Days of Action video series on the channel yet? If you have, drop a yes. If you have not, drop a no. I'd love to know. Honestly, I just want to gauge, how well the series is helping you guys. Nice, Manuel says yes. Because I have like 14 more videos that are ready to drop. I'm going to drop them soon. I've just been editing them and finishing out the series to get like a 30-day, YouTube mini course out. That's been the goal. So if you guys haven't checked that out, I think there's like 16 videos out already on music tips. So, Emmanuel, let me know, like, how much has that helped you? Oh, pretty good. Sweet. Dude, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, let me know if anyone else is on, if you guys have seen the series. Actually, I'll just drop the link, I'm not going to ask for permission. This is my live stream. Here you go. 30 Days of Action. All right. Check it out, guys. It should be really helpful. Been working hard on it. Okay, so let's see. Hassan asks, how should musicians and upcoming artists take advantage of the increase of online traffic because of the virus? It's a really good question. So I'll start with just saying this. What I've heard and what I've seen is that with all of these new people on the internet, like social media platforms have so much data to work with that something like a really positive thing that's happening for musicians and independent artists and even businesses is that the cost of Facebook and Instagram ads has actually gone way down. So that's a really huge thing that you can take advantage of right now. It's like if you have an advertising strategy and you have been running some yeah, it's just some exposure campaigns. Like now's the time to maybe throw a couple extra bucks in there because they're just going to go way further. Like I've been working with an artist over in Ontario, Canada. No, Oakland, Canada. Sorry. His name's Anthony Trullo, and we've been working on his exposure campaigns on Facebook, and we've been getting ridiculous results because just everyone is online, and yeah, and he's like he thinks I'm magic, but honestly, I'm kind of doing like the same um, like caliber of ads that I usually do, but it's just like a better time right now. I mean, my ads are usually good, but that's something that you could definitely take advantage of right now. Another thing is that I would say if you've been uh, how should I say this, on the fence? No, sitting on the sidelines. That's a better way to say it. If you've been sitting on the sidelines to creating consistent, nearly daily content of some form of fashion, I would get on that right now. And I actually have a tool that should actually be able to help you a lot. I made a 365-day content calendar for musicians that people have been eating up at the Indie Music Academy. Let me get the link for you. Let's see. But yeah, so the idea of this content calendar is, 365 days in a year. I give you 365 content prompts that are specifically made for musicians. And the idea it's not just cover songs. That's another strategy. That's more of an SEO strategy. But this is actually more of a fan journey type of strategy. So the idea is that, and I'm dropping the link right here for you guys. The idea is that you can make content for traffic, or you can make content to uh, what's the word? Progress a fan along the fan journey, right? So if a fan doesn't really know you or know anything about you, right, you're going to want to create content that is very broad and that's inviting people in. And this is the same type of content you're going to want to do in your ads. That's very impressive. You're showing kind of just like your raw talent and your personality. And then as you move along the fan journey, there's a couple of huge landmarks that you're going to want to hit. And so one of those landmarks, for example, is like getting people on your mailing list. So if you haven't built what I call a fan magnet, that is a crucial step to knowing whether your fans are on the sidelines or they're really messing with you and they care about your music and they want to get some extra VIP stuff that you have to offer. Another really huge step in the fan journey is getting your first purchase, because as indie artists, we're all entrepreneurs as well. We're all online digital entrepreneurs. And knowing which fans are our customers is a really valuable thing, because then, just like what Hassan was asking, how can we take advantage of all this extra online traffic? Well, if you have a mailing list and you have your customers tagged and segmented on that mailing list because you've been progressing them through the fan journey, you can actually take your list of customers and turn that into what's called a Facebook custom audience. And you can target people exactly like the people who bought from you. So you're not targeting, knows everything about you. They know all your habits, and they're able to pull those people off their platform and feed them your ads. And it's a really successful way to go about doing promotion, paid advertisement, stuff like that. So, um, goodness gracious, that was a tangent. So, yes, how can you take advantage of this time? Making daily content or near daily or even weekly. Just do whatever regiment you're actually going to get done. Um, that's really important. Let's see what we got. I think we'll do like 5 more minutes, a few more questions. This has been really great, guys. So thanks. I hope you guys are getting a lot out of this. Manuel says, from your videos, I've seen that you're with Songtrust for publishing. How's it gone with the retroactive of the songs? How long back can they collect? It's a really good question. So the story of Songtrust for me is I created a publishing company through BMI first, which I thought was necessary at the time, but turned out not to be necessary because Songtrust's website is not clear. So let me tell you that story. So when I first reached out to Songtrust, I was like, hey, I want to collect my publishing, not only for myself, but I also do, film soundtracks. I produce artists. I was signing artists to my independent record label, Limebold Records, at the time. And so I was working out contracts with them. So I was talking to Songtrust, and they were like, yeah, Songtrust can power your publishing. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. So what I understood it to be is that I'll make a publishing company and I'll let Songtrust know, hey, this is my publishing company, power it for me, using their words. And it turns out that they definitely power my publishing by just bypassing my publishing company entirely. So that's what they do. They retroactively went back to everything I had registered before. So they do that. And I think they go through your whole catalog. So I wouldn't worry about timeline or anything like that. And anything else I have to say about Songtrust? They're a really good company. Their support chat's really good, and they'll also answer your royalty questions. That's all I have to say about that. Sweet. Let's do like 2 more questions. Sarah says, she's talking about her traffic. 40% other YouTube features. Random. The other top 2 performers are search and suggested. Yeah, that is kind of random. And then that also goes back to something that I said before, is that the more views and the more watch time, more data that YouTube has, then the clearer your traffic sources are going to be, because it's just, if there's not a lot of views, YouTube just doesn't know enough to work with your stuff, unfortunately. So getting into search is going to really be like throwing gasoline on the fire there, because if you are ranking in a search result, then that's guaranteed traffic and guaranteed data points, whether or not YouTube knows about you or not. And then eventually they'll be like, hey, we got this data that matches this profile of watch or viewer. I was going to say watcher. I guess that works too, right? And then they'll start matching that up algorithmically. So getting more views, more data points, getting into search is number 1, I'd say. All right, I think we'll make this the last question, unless if someone wants to impress me with just a question I cannot resist. Okay, San says, any disadvantage to using 2 distributors? For DSPs, I like DSPs. DSPs? Just what is a DSP? So like when I want Ditto to be my major distributor for all these distros, so taking the song. Okay, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, and so just overall answer, there's no problem with multiple distributors. Um, you know, actually something that AWOL doesn't do well, at least I'd have to check back. Maybe they added this recently, but if you want to release a cover song onto Spotify, I would not use AWOL unless if they have new features that I need to check on. But I would use something else like Ditto or Lander. Lander, right? Yeah, Lander has a really good song licensing option if you're going to do that. So yeah, I don't see a problem with that. Sierra says, heck yes, I feel encouraged. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. Great questions, by the way. I love talking about YouTube. It's like my favorite website. Survivor says, I use BMI, so I'm kind of confused. Do I still need to use Sound Exchange in Song Trust in combination with BMI? Yes. So what Sound Exchange does is completely separate from BMI. And what Song Trust does is act on your behalf to register on BMI. So BMI is still the place that's going to collect for you. Song Trust is just going to handle your BMI registrations from now on. So once you sign up for Song Trust, they take care of your BMI registration. Okay. So you don't have to register on the BMI.com anymore. But what they also do is register your song in like a million different other places as well. So that is the benefit to Song Trust. So it is a little confusing though, because it's like, wait, I just signed up for BMI and now I'm signing up for Song Trust, but they're also BMI somehow? Yes. They act on your behalf to register your song on BMI. Yeah, I know. Crazy industry we live in. All right, guys. Well, this has been super awesome. Once again, thanks for being here. Definitely take advantage of a few things that are going on right now, like the 30 days of action. Definitely grab the free guides that I worked really hard on. Manuel, the only thing that's not in the royalty collection guide is the lyrics, but everything else is in there. So I'm going to have to definitely update that. Thanks for putting that question out there. You guys are actually helping me, keeping me just encouraged and up to date on what you guys are thinking and what you guys are hearing. You guys are my eyes and ears. I can't read all the news and hear everything, so this has been awesome. I'm going to drop a few more things in the chat really quick before you go, so definitely check out the free guides. That also comes with a video workshop with almost an hour of free marketing training. So check that out. The first video talks about why Spotify is a great audience growth tool, but is not a great money-making tool. I think you guys probably understand why, but I tell you what I use instead of Spotify to actually make money with my music. Then the second video talks about how I make money on YouTube, how I make money with my home studio, and basically I go through all of the what is it called? The gradations of all the ways that I've kind of figured out how to, make this guitar earn me a music living. And then the third video is specifically about the fan journey and how to actually make fans care about your music. So it's a really great series. I worked really hard on it. Of course, it just comes from my perspective and my experience, and so it should be valuable because it's just so good to learn from other people. I learn from so many people. I have my mentors, and I try to pass on everything I can to you guys. So definitely check that out. And let's see if there's anything I missed. Live stream next week again. Yeah, you know what? I love doing this, and especially during this time when we're all stuck at home, I honestly can't think of a better use of a Friday night. And so, yeah, I'll definitely be sending out another email about this. If you guys are not on the Indie Music Academy list, signing up actually for the free guides will get you there as well. It'll get you the free video training, and it'll get you the notifications for these live streams. So thanks, Survivor. Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks, Manuel. Magnum, I'm really glad that this is helping. What email can I write you if I found more information about the publishing? Hey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so my email is Ryan, Ryan, at indiemusicacademy.com. And that's a good one to send. Also, just replying to any email that I send out. Of course, once you sign up, I'm not going to be the one to physically send you the guides. Um, the automator does that. But if you reply to the automator, it comes straight to me. So it's not just all machine. There's man behind the machine. So I really would appreciate that if you found anything. That'd be really sweet. Manuel says, thank you very much for the content you do on your channel. It really is valuable and has helped me clarify several things about the music business. You're so welcome, man. That's my goal. Clarity is, the thing that I've struggled with in the beginning. I just didn't know what to work on. And so it was people like Graham from the Recording Revolution, for example. I'm in his private mentorship group, and he's helped me figure out what's important to make a living with my music. And so Graham, this other guy, Ian Stanley, I'm in his private group, just getting these perspectives and clarities on business, on online business, on music business specifically, this crazy industry that we're in. It's just been really great. And shout out to Ari with his great book. If you're not on his list, he's a really great resource as well. And then, my boy Adam Ivy. Are you guys following him? If you are, drop an answer in the comments, because I want to know. So it's all great. My perspective is that, like, if the waters rise, what's the saying? Like, if the water rises, all ships float, right? So, like, the more that we can just help each other and educate each other and just grow as a community, like a real community, like by doing this and by just sharing what we're hearing, this ever-changing industry, like what you said earlier, Manuel, about the lyric royalty collection sites that are now popping up. Like, this, everything's changing so fast, and so it's just been really good. And so I appreciate you guys. Magnum says, yeah, you, Graham. Oh yeah, Liam McHenry, yeah, Torio. I have to check out Torio. Ari, yep. Adam Ivy, smart rapper, nice. Yeah. Dude, I'm honored, honestly, to be grouped in with those people. So I appreciate you, man. It's been good. Yeah, so thanks so much for sticking with me. What's up, Jimmy? Good to see your name. Good to see your name, man. You're so welcome. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you. We'll do this again next Friday. Yes, today's Friday. With this quarantine, I'm like, what day is it? What year is it? But yeah, we're going to do this more. We're going to chop it up, take advantage of all the stuff that I sent in the chat, and best of luck. I'll see you guys in the next stream.